Hey everyone, this is Rhonda. I'm back with a video blog update. This one is actually a plea, and it's a plea to you all related to your billing number, your P10. We can't afford to have silly mistakes, just busyness causing these mistakes where it's related to your surety bond. We are required to maintain a valid surety bond as a DME supplier. Yes, there are exemptions, and we all know who those are. Since I think 2008 or 2009, the surety bond requirement has been in place. So this is nothing new. It's been in place for years. We have to maintain a valid surety bond. There cannot be a lapse, a gap in coverage of a surety bond. So we need to make sure it's valid. We need to make sure we renew them. CMS has really cracked down on the national provider enrollment contractors. There are two of them now. If you're west of the Mississippi River, you're dealing with Palmetto, who's been around in the DME industry for many years. If you're east of the Mississippi River, you're dealing with a new to DME contractor, not new to healthcare, but new to DME. Their name is Novitas Solution. So we have two of them now, two contractors for our billing enrollment number. CMS is really cracking down on these contractors and make sure that everyone is abiding by the rules that are in place. And if there's a lapse in your surety bond coverage, there's a gap, there's an issue, and it's gonna cause a revocation with your number, which means there's no billing to Medicare until that's corrected. There may be no billing to other payers that say you have to have a valid P10 number. So we don't want to disrupt that cash flow. Your job, my plea, is for you to check that now. So get up out of your chair, check a file, or click on the documents file, wherever you store your surety bond information. See when it is due. So do that now while I'm still talking to you. And see when that surety bond is due. If it's due now, you better find out where that letter went from the bond company, because they've been contacting you to get this renewed. These bond companies are required to inform the enrollment centers when there's going to be a lapse in coverage. And they can do that up to 30 days ahead of that deadline. So don't disrupt that. So find out where your surety bond is. Find out whoever's the bond company is and call them and ask them, hey, when is my bond renewal up? And take care of it now if it's now, and get that updated bond submitted to the NPE, the National Provider Enrollment Center. If it's in 6 months, make sure that you get the proper notifications to get that renewed in 6 months. Each location that has an NPI is required to have a surety bond. So make sure you have each location's surety bond information. If you have to have a spreadsheet, calendar reminders, whatever you have to do to keep this up to date. In the past, there have been a few of you that have reached out and have had innocent issues. It was just, something has happened and there was a lapse, even though you still had coverage. It just maybe didn't get to the enrollment center or whatever the issue was. It used to be an easy fix. It's not going to be nowadays. Waving the magical wand is not going to happen. I will do my darndest to help you and get it corrected. We all are trying to do the right thing. I understand that, but waving that magical wand is not going to happen. That means you have to hold yourself accountable to make sure that things are getting renewed, like your surety bond. It could take 60 days to get your revocation reinstated. We don't want to deal with that. We can't afford that. We have too much stress on, and as a business owner, as a company already, we don't need to add to it. So make this a priority. Do it now. Look and see when that bond is due, when it's up for renewal. Making sure the NPE gets a copy of it. Take those few minutes right now to do it. This is also a good opportunity to review those supplier standards. There are 30 of them. There have been 30 of them for years. Review those as a reminder of why you're doing the business the way you're doing it. I used to do that myself when I managed a DME. I reviewed them with the staff because sometimes we get frustrated, irritated, and or forget why we have to do business the way we do. And it's to protect our billing, our P10 number. So review those standards. Make sure everything else is up to date, that it needs to be updated. Your licenses, your liability insurance, again, your surety bond, anything else, and that the NPE has that information. They need that on file. Don't wait for them to come to you. That's never a good situation. Send it to them so they have it on file. The best way to do all of this is electronically through Paycos. Try to steer away from doing the hard copies of the 855S anymore. They will still accept them, I'm not saying that, but it's starting to become a slower process, a delay, it can delay things because it's a slower process. So Paycos, the electronic way, is the best way. And you can see everything immediately. So that's my plea to you, is to check now of when that surety bond is due, making sure that it's been renewed if it's time, or if it's not time for renewal, you have a reminder set so it gets renewed timely. Connecting with your bond company to make sure they have your contact information so you don't miss that notice. And you're going to get that renewed for each location that has an NPI. So do that now, please. As always, if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I do appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm here for you to help. Thank you.